Thanksgiving is a special night. Jimmy Walker used to say dynamite. That's right. Turkey with gravy and cranberry.
Welcome back, everybody. Latest episode of You Make Me Sick. Today is a special Thanksgiving Day special, or Thanksgiving Day special. I don't know how you want to say it, but I am happy to be joined by the Birdman, and as always, Jay Mayhem as well has joined us. So today we're going to talk turkey. Specifically, we'll be talking the birds themselves, nasty, giant fowl, but they're delicious as well. So we're going to get into a little bit of safe food handling, just how to avoid some foodborne illnesses, as well as some our favorite ways to prepare birds, and then some random Thanksgiving Day questions just for everybody to answer. So without further ado, let's get started. Birdman, welcome. I'm going to start, I think, by talking about turkeys themselves.
All right.
First, just a few questions to start off for you. So we were just talking about this before I started recording. Is fall a good time of year for birding?
It's one of the better times of the year. Early fall. That's when you get everything migrating back south through. So stuff you can't see, like in New Hampshire, for example, stuff that's up in Canada and stuff is flying through. So you'll get to see a lot of cool stuff you don't see all summer or all winter. And same thing with spring. It's just the same thing reversed. But yeah,
That's
fall
pretty
and
cool.
spring they're the best times to go for sure.
Did you see anything today that you hadn't seen yet this year, or anything you were kind of checking off your list?
No, right now there's not much to see. Just a lot of waterfowl. Like while there's still open water, you'll get ducks and grebes and all sorts of stuff that pass through. But I didn't really have any luck today. Kind of had to look for the sheltered bays because it was so windy and stuff. The waves are too nuts, so makes it harder. But yeah.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about turkeys.
I got a question about
Yeah,
that.
what's up?
Do the waterfowl sleep in the water?
Yeah,
In
for the
the-
most part. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, they'll just raft up, like they call it a raft. It's like a big group of ducks that all congregate, and they'll sleep right on the water. And it's obviously safer for them at night out there too. So
Yeah. Like, why
Yeah.
do people have this subconscious thing about ducks being cold or birds being cold? Like they figured it out, man. Like
oh yeah, their bodies are designed where it's still amazing to me. I'll be up at in the morning it's negative 20 degrees and they're just swimming around having the time of their life. But
flying
Yeah, it's
south in the
nuts.
winter, that's bullshit, right?
this is south for some of the species that stay here.
Exactly.
So it's better here than it is up in the
Right.
Arctic tundra where they were, and so most of them are in the ocean though because inland New Hampshire everything freezes up. So once everything freezes up here, you'll be lucky to find some stuff in the rivers, but pretty much everything's on the seacoast.
So I have a question. So with regard to turkeys, do you know how many different kinds of turkeys there are, or like at least in the United States or the Northeast?
So in North America, I did a little refresher in this. We have only one species of turkey. It's Meleagris gallipovo, but there's 5 races or subspecies, and they're all geographically different. And then in Mexico and the Yucatan, there's a 6th subspecies, which is called the ocellated turkey, or ocellated wild turkey. I recommend Googling that one because that is a crazy looking bird. But the rest, it's like I said, we have 5 subspecies, and there's just subtle differences in plumage and size, like coloration and their overall size. And there's one group that's only found in Florida. And then there's, other ones that are in the southeast or southwest.
Which one started them all? What was the original OG turkey?
Some ancestor that's probably extinct now, but it's something.
Like
It's
a pterodactyl?
so. No. Actually, birds did evolve from dinosaurs, but and actually, pterodactyls aren't technically dinosaurs, but that's a long story in itself. They all evolved from things like that we picture as Velociraptor or T-Rex.
Yeah.
But yeah, turkeys are the largest member of the group Gallipovo, or Galliforms, and that's our chicken-like birds. So you'll have your
Right.
grouses, prairie chickens, bobwhite, stuff like that. So they're our largest member of that family. And it's only one species, like I said, but with 5 different races in North America.
Those would be the little dinosaurs that ate the fat guy at the beginning of Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
exactly, something like that. And then Velociraptor, I was talking about it because I'm a nerd. We were watching Jurassic Park the other day, but they were, in the movies, they're way bigger in the movies, and they were actually covered in feathers. They look nothing like they do in the movies, but it's a cool monster for the movie, but not very realistic.
You got to sell it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So turkeys are really aggressive, right? So I've had a couple of run-ins with turkeys. I've been chased by turkeys before, and my wife has as well.
Yep.
Like, do you know why they're such aggressive birds?
It's mostly when the breeding season's going on. So they're either filled with hormones or they have young around that you might not see, but they're really protective of them. I've been chased by grouse and stuff in the woods that have had chicks and stuff. I've avoided turkeys, but turkeys they're formidable. They have those big spurs on the back legs that are really dangerous.
Do the chickens have large talons?
Yeah.
So they're not to be messed with, but for the most part around here, they're pretty docile. I've never really had a problem with turkeys, but
yeah, like I live in Boston. I'm in West Roxbury, and we have them like in our neighborhood, and they terrorize. They will terrorize people. They will hold them hostage outside their cars and stuff.
You can't touch them; like they're illegal to touch.
Yeah, right? You can't. Yeah, you can't go near them. You can't hit them. You can't shoo them away. So
yeah, I think they're all.
Did you do that, Bergman? Any info on how far out we have to be to let things like snap their neck? Or, like,
well, I mean, we have a hunting season for them up here, for spring and fall. But otherwise, I think they are protected by the Migratory Bird Act or one of those. So you really can't kill any bird that's not that doesn't have a game season for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's illegal to kill anything. So
they can shoot coyotes up here, but the freaking coyotes can't kill the turkeys. What the fuck?
Yeah, coyotes, I guess, are technically a nuisance. So their hunting season's literally, I think, from New Year's Day to like May, and there's like the only animals you can hunt at night too.
I can't see much else killing a turkey. That's why I bring them up.
There's not much. Yeah, and they're formidable, like I said. But especially even a smaller one, hawks or an eagle, maybe owls might take one. So their predators are probably mainly other birds, and then when they're smaller, there are obviously more things will eat them. Foxes might go after one, but like I said, when they get
owls are pretty nasty too. I've been attacked by an owl twice, like out jogging in the morning, and they kind of swoop down it wasn't here. It was when I lived in Oregon.
Yeah,
it was a barred owl, I think they called it.
Yeah, either barred or spotted. They look identical, almost identical. But the same thing. If they must have young around, because otherwise they don't have any use for us. But they're really protective.
They smell that pussy on you, sick guy.
So, what other turkey facts do you have for us?
Well, yeah, I guess I did a little research. So, turkey breeding is actually pretty interesting. They breed in groups called leks, and a lek is a group of males that will display together two females to try to win them over. The interesting about that is in a lek, all those males are related. They're usually all brothers. And if they succeed in wooing a female, they will only mate with one of those males. So they have a dominant male in that group. So all the males work together to get these females, but they will only mate with that one dominant male. So in a way, you're like, well, that's stupid. How are the other ones not passing their genes? But it's like collective effort. So even if only one of them gets to mate, they all share the similar genes, and that's going to pass on. So
you're kind of passing on the lineage there.
Yeah, it's a very interesting way to do it. It happens with birds all over the place. Manakins are tiny songbirds in Central America, which are exquisite looking, but they have probably the wildest leks. That's another one you should look up too, because they'll work together to breed, but only one of them will breed, and it's kind of sad but cool at the same time.
It's sad, dude. That's like the one dude at the dance who brings the chick home, and the rest of them are just stuck in the corner.
They're all, and he has a bunch of wingmen, and they don't care.
Right? They get nothing.
Yeah, but so that's when you see them all in those groups in the spring when they're all puffed up, and they're typical. You think of a turkey when it has the tail fanned all out and puffed right up.
One chasing cars.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at that group, you're like you realize like all those males that doing that, they're related, but there's only one of them that's actually going to mate. So
is it just the male turkeys that have like the gobbler thing, like this thing right here?
Yeah. I mean, females have a small one, but like the males is wicked exaggerated. The The adult male turkeys, the toms, as like hunting people would call them, toms and jakes. Jake's like a younger male, but they have the long beards too that hang off the chest. But older females will have one too, but it's shorter. But the males, yeah, they're dramatically different looking than the females, especially in the spring. You got a
Any
lot
idea
of
what it does? Like, does it hold like acid or something? Or
the beard.
no,
Oh, the wattle.
Yeah.
I think it's just evolved. It swells up when in the breeding season. It changes colors. It gets highly vascularized. So I think it's just part of their adaptation to make their appearance look desirable to females. So it's very strange. But yeah, the colors in the spring are just absolutely insane. They just
they change
bright
completely.
blue and bright red. Yeah, it's totally different.
And is that the primary mating season? Is it springtime?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Spring. Yeah, springtime, and then they'll actually mate and lay eggs all throughout summer. You'll have clutches of young birds. Most birds they get here in the spring, they have a clutch, they raise it, they might do a second one, but like for the most part, it's one or two. But turkeys will kind of just, if they can keep doing it, they'll go all summer, and because you'll see babies right up until the fall. So,
how big are their eggs? Their eggs must be pretty big, right? Turkey's a big bird.
yeah, it's
Why aren't they sold? I feel like there's enough of them.
Yeah, and there's so many domestic ones too. Yeah,
You just thought
I
you
don't know
said
why.
it was turkey eggs. I for some reason I didn't know we don't think they exist almost.
Yeah.
But it makes
So
all the
turkey
sense in
egg,
the world.
yeah, turkey egg's probably double the size of a pretty large chicken egg. It's bigger, but it's not crazy huge. And they're brown and speckled, I believe, because they lay them right on the ground. They don't nest or anything, so they have to camouflage.
Okay.
I've found them at work a couple times. Blowing leaves in the spring, and all of a sudden I'll just blow up some eggs. And
big egg.
yeah, it's like, oh boy, they look almost fake because you don't expect to see it. But,
They're not really farm raised, right? They're kind of all wild.
no, they're farm raised. So like
They
if
do?
every year the president has that one that comes to the White House, it's
Yeah.
always like a white one.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
those are the domestic ones.
He pardons the turkey.
Pardons
Yeah,
the turkey,
yeah.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
So dumb,
so
but
ridiculous.
those white ones, those are domesticated. So, and domestic turkeys, there's some different breeds that have different colors and stuff, and they've been bred to be huge.
Fat, right? Yeah.
I found a baby domestic one at work years ago, and my sister kept birds, so I gave it to her, and I thought it was a chicken, and the thing grew up to be this like 40-pound turkey.
Shit,
It
that's
was
awesome.
crazy. Yeah, it would like it stand up to your chest. It was wild. It was huge.
What did you feed it?
They fed it, but the same stuff they feed chickens, just whatever
Same bird
chicken food you buy at the hardware store, wherever you get it.
Fit in a bag. I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
Have you ever heard so it's famously said that Ben Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird.
That was one of my
Yeah.
facts I wrote down. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it other than I've heard that forever. It's just kind of like, Thanksgiving comes around, turkey facts come up, and it's a big one that I guess Benjamin Franklin petitioned for that to be the symbol of the United States.
So I was looking into it, and supposedly that's kind of it's almost like a myth. So, and this is per the Franklin Institute, who I'm hoping is accurate on this one.
I hope so.
So he did have criticisms of the bald eagle, mainly, and this is quoting Benjamin Franklin. I guess it's in a letter that he wrote his daughter. So, quote, "The bald eagle is a bird of bad moral character. He does not get his living honestly. He is too lazy to fish for himself." Which, can you lend credence to that? The eagles not fish for themselves, or are they just constantly stealing their meals?
They do fish for themselves. I've seen it. It's actually really cool when you get to see it happen, but because they do it so like effortlessly. But
pretty quick.
they will jump on opportunity though. And they're bigger, so if a smaller bird catches something, they'll just take it away from them.
Grab it. Yeah.
They'll harass
And
like
then,
cormorants and stuff and take their catch. But yeah, and they don't just eat fish. Eagles will go. I've seen them. It's not uncommon to see them eating on carcasses up here, especially in the winter. That coyotes chase the deer onto the ice, and the deer slip. Coyotes kill them. Then days later, you'll see tons of eagles just all around one carcass.
Pecking at him.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not quite all the way true, but yeah, they will steal, but they catch fish in there.
All right. And then furthermore, with the Franklin thing, and then about the turkey, this is Franklin again, quoting, quote, "A much more respectable bird, and withal a true original native of America. He is besides, though a little vain and silly, a bird of courage." So I don't know how much courage turkeys actually had. I know that they can be pretty mean and aggressive, so I could see that. But apparently Franklin, he admired the turkey for his courage. Didn't think so much of the bald eagle. But there was never. I don't think there was ever any petition. I don't think he ever really wanted the turkey to be the bird of the United States.
Right.
But he did have qualms with the bald eagle. So
That's interesting. I don't know how courageous they are. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes I'm driving down the road and they won't get the hell out of the way. So it's like, man, that thing's
right. Maybe
brave.
they're just stupid too.
But they're just. I think it's more
they're,
stupidity.
they're little lizard bird brain.
Right. They live for hundreds of thousands of years with no cars. They've only had to get used to it in the last
Bald
70.
eagles,
True.
domesticated animals.
Excuse me?
Bald eagles, they're domesticated, right? They got
No. I mean, there's captive ones that are either rehabilitated and can't be released, or you'll at zoos and stuff. But no, they're not commonly domesticated at all.
Okay.
It's hard to domesticate predatory animals too. They have just
I'm
such a
wondering why there's some with just white and some without. Like you said,
so
with the turkeys.
yeah. It's an age thing. So
Okay.
when they're young, like their first year, they're almost completely like black, almost really, really dark brown. And then as they get older, they get patchier white in places. And then by about 5 years old, they get that adult look, white head and tail. But it takes about, I think it's about 5 years until they look like that. But they go through a bunch of different stages and molt. And it's mostly, brown and white patches, and it changes as they age. It's pretty neat because you can almost look at them and tell how old they are based on how they look. So,
and they pretty much only eat fish, right? Like, I know I'm elaborating, but
Yeah.
like up there, they have that.
yeah, they're specialized for fish. They'll eat ducks. They'll eat geese. They'll eat. I mean, kill and eat ducks and geese. But they'll also scavenge. So they don't, especially in winter when food's tough to get to. They love finding carcasses and stuff. So you'll see them right on the side of the highway.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
I just saw a video of one older not able to beat like something that like a fish, like it couldn't catch it, and I was relating that to kind of what you said. Now you're saying as they get older, they get balder, so that would mean they don't get as much nutrition. And,
I like that.
so, but the brown. This is before you get into anything else. The only turkey thing I learned recently is the brown turkeys are better than the white turkeys. It's because there's more fat in them.
Like taste wise, you mean? Like
like people have always not liked the dark brown turkeys in my world. As far as I know, it's like frowned upon.
Well, the domestic ones, like those are the ones that we all get on like Thanksgiving. You ones we buy at the store and stuff. Those are, but they've been farm raised. They've been fed the right stuff. They've been bred to be the fattest and juiciest and biggest. Ironically, have the biggest breasts, all that. And whereas wild birds, they're a lot gamier tasting. And some people prefer that. Especially people that hunt a lot and stuff, they like that. I don't mind gamey meat because I'll eat wild game. I don't hunt or anything, but I have plenty of friends that do, and I get meat quite a bit, and I like that flavor to it. A lot of people don't though. So, but those ones you buy at the store, those have been like literally created to be delicious. So
they've just been sitting in cages for
and just
however long it takes to get them that big, months maybe. I don't know.
Pump with food to get them fat, and then they don't let them move around a lot, so the muscles doesn't get too lean.
Yeah.
How many eggs they lay while they're in the cage?
Where
the fuck do they go?
Well, that's a good point. I actually don't know why they don't market turkey eggs, but I mean they market duck eggs slightly, but not even.
That's all I eat. Since they've been on the market basket, I go all over it by them. Like I love the duck eggs.
Yeah.
I can't do duck eggs. I get really bad upset stomach with whenever I do duck eggs. Like gives me diarrhea and everything. I just have a bad intolerance.
Yeah, I think that's a thing. I think like some people can't eat them. Yeah, for whatever. I don't know what it is.
Which sucks too because they taste awesome. Like they're really good. They're big too. Oh,
I don't know if I've ever had one.
They're very
really
filling.
Good. Yeah. All right. So, any more interesting facts or tips about turkeys?
I kind of went through all mine. Other than that, just one cool thing about turkeys is they're young or precocial, which means they feed themselves. So essentially they just hang around with mom for protection, but otherwise they're totally self-sufficient at birth. They don't. Other birds have to, have a nest
crazy,
to feed them.
Like the regurgitation thing.
Yeah. So they don't have to. Parents don't have to feed them. They don't have to. They're pretty much independent. They can almost fly right after hatching too. They can fly yeah, really quickly after hatching, they can actually fly, but not well,
like,
as all turkeys. But and
I was gonna
actually,
say, like, I've never like how well do turkeys fly? Like, I've never actually seen one like take. I've seen them kind of get off the ground a little bit, but not
yeah.
really like travel like distance wise very far.
So that's a
Not like
myth too.
bird.
Like, yeah, people like always say like, oh, they can fly, but they can't fly well. Like turkeys actually can fly really well. They just they're not adapted to flight. They're way more
They're
adapted to
fucking
walk.
fat.
They're huge. Yeah, it's way too. It takes way too much energy to sustain flight when you're that big, and they're not
They're
aerodynamic.
funny.
But when
They're
they need to
funny.
fly, like they fly well, and they roost up in trees at night too. So they have to fly up at night.
Really? Huh?
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
yeah, they're really well good flyers, but they just don't do it because they're so
Just do it
big and
very often.
bulky.
All right. Well, that being said, turkeys are great. They're delicious birds, but they can, like a lot of poultry, cause illness.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit about kind of foodborne illness right now. Food poisoning in and of itself. I know. Hey, it's making me sick. Come on, man.
Here for it.
So yeah. So I'll throw a few stats out there. All right. So like every year, about 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from some kind of foodborne illness. That's about 48 million people a year. 128,000 of those are hospitalized, and there are about 3,000 deaths each year just from foodborne illnesses. You guys have any idea what the most common foodborne illnesses are, if you had to guess?
Salmonella.
That one.
Salmonella is number 2.
What's the bird flu? Does that
So
count?
so this is, I'm talking more about stuff like, this is more bacteria based, not viral stuff.
E.
This is stuff
coli.
that you get. So E. coli is, but it's not even in the top 5.
Really?
So yeah.
Was it-
So number 1 is norovirus, which probably you don't think of that usually as like a foodborne illness, but because it's so contagious, once it starts to spread, and it's usually spread from it's usually like fecally orally, so it has to be on food. You have to eat it. That's number 1. Salmonella is number 2, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about because that's the one most associated with poultry. Clostridium perfringens is number 3, Campylobacter number 4, and then Staph aureus number 5. But salmonella in and of itself, that's the number 1. It's the number 1 for hospitalizing people, and the number 1 for deaths related to foodborne illness as well.
Those are all just strains of bacteria, right?
What's that?
Those are all just bacteria strains.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you get salmonella from pork too, or is it just poultry?
I think it's usually trichinosis is what you usually get from pork.
Okay.
So, which is a different type, and that can actually, you can get the kind of like, I think that it's not parasitic or like a helminth, like a worm, but it's a type of bacterial infection that's more associated with pork.
Birdman, I've been rewatching House, and
House is,
what I'll say is they're all the fucking same, and they just give them different names for different animals, and they confuse the fuck out of us. So go ahead, guy.
House is great. My wife and I just restarted watching that again too. We're like halfway through the first season. Yeah.
I never got into House.
Oh, it's excellent. It's
really? I don't like that actor.
I recommend.
I don't like his character in it. He always came across as like an asshole.
That's my favorite part of
that's
it.
That's the whole point. Yeah. House is a great show.
Huh.
All right, so back to salmonella real quick. So it causes about 1.3 million deaths, 1.3 million cases every year, with 26,000 hospitalizations, 420 deaths. So when you go to the grocery store and you're buying chicken, you're buying poultry, about 1 in every 25 packages of chicken is going to be contaminated with salmonella.
Wow.
And then about 25% of all foodborne illnesses are contributed to salmonella. So salmonella is, pretty. It's definitely prominent out there in the bacteria world as far as getting you sick from foodborne illness. A lot of times with poultry, and that's why especially relevant to this episode with turkey and turkey preparation. Have you guys ever had any kind of a food poisoning?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I can't think specifically. Like it's more like I went to a restaurant and got sick, so it's like I don't know. I don't think I've ever got sick off of food I made for myself, thankfully. But
it's very unpleasant though, right? As we all know, diarrhea, vomiting, can have a fever. Usually lasts.
She's got diarrhea.
It'll last as long as the toxin actually stays with you. So that's why a lot of times, like they'll recommend don't taking like Imodium or an anti-diarrheal, just because if you have food poisoning, you need to kind of get the toxin out. Right. So, and it can take anywhere 24 to 48 hours. But bad cases, you get dehydrated, you might need hospitalization. But that usually only affects, people with compromised immune systems, older people, younger people, other people with immunocompromised issues. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder if it's just a heat thing with that, because I mean, if you cook your food enough, it doesn't.
yeah. So if you kill the bacteria, so essentially with poultry, it's 165 degrees, and I'm
Okay.
actually gonna we'll talk about. So the CDC has recommendations. Essentially, they have like 4 ways to avoid their foodborne illnesses. The first one is called clean. So cleaning your hands and then cleaning the surfaces that you use. A lot of times people will either forget to wash their hands or the surface they have, chicken or turkey on, they'll use that to prepare something else and that'll get them sick. Same thing with like utensils, anything you use, you never want to reuse that again. A lot of this is just common sense.
Yeah.
Their second recommendation is that separate, don't cross-contaminate. So once again, foods that you're going to be cooking, especially like raw vegetables, keep away from your poultry and your meats till after you cook them, all that good stuff. They also recommend cooking to the right temperature. So depending what meat you're cooking, it's different. So if you're looking, fish is like 150 degrees, poultry 165, meats like such as beef and pork like 160 degrees is what they recommend. So, and anything you're reheating like a casserole or leftovers, 165 is what they recommend just to kill anything that might be growing on it.
Mm.
And then lastly, their fourth recommendation is to like chill and refrigerate leftovers promptly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this thing called the danger zone, which is essentially it's a range of temperatures where bacteria thrive, and that's about 40 degrees to 140 degrees. So they recommend, so keep it cool, keep it in your fridge, keep your fridge below 40 degrees, and if you're gonna be, if you're gonna be cooking, make sure obviously you cook to the right temperature. But and then get your leftovers in the fridge as soon as possible too. Like bacteria can grow pretty quickly, especially when it's warm out. It can take a couple of hours for it to start multiplying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if you're ever like a picnic and you see some like really suspect looking meat that's been sitting out there all day, you might want to stay away from it.
Yeah.
or the potato salad that's been there for 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
those are always the best because they've been sitting there and you're just starving and there's one left,
Yeah, you go for it. You pay for it later.
Right. You're taking a risk.
And the other thing they recommend, especially this time of year and around the holidays, people who do get turkeys, if your turkey's frozen, thaw it in the refrigerator. Like you never want to thaw it on the countertop or in warm water. Like that's a really great way just to contaminate everything around you. And as well as if you're like brining a turkey, a lot of times you'll take the turkey out of the brine and you'll have to kind of wash the turkey, get all the brine off of it. They recommend always using separate sinks for preparation and then cleaning the sink afterwards. So common sense stuff, So
if you don't do enough weed to kill it all, I get it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so those are the tips for like safe food handling to avoid. Nobody wants to ruin their Thanksgiving by having food poisoning. It really sucks.
Yeah, that's one thing. I've never had it around the holidays, so I guess we all have decent family members. They care about us.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah,
more than the restaurants we go to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This will be my first year hosting Thanksgiving, so I'm putting my brother-in-law, who's a chef and a big Minifan too, but he's in charge of the turkey because I'm gonna screw that up. I've never done it
Nice.
before.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue. So I got some like typical Turkey Day questions for both of you too, just kind of about Turkey Day, how you like your turkey. So I guess the first question I have is like, do you have like a favorite preparation for your turkey? And like the way it's cooked. Some people like fried. Some people, I like it on the smoker. Some people traditionally just in the oven. Any thoughts?
Yeah, oven is the way I've gone forever. I've never deep fried turkey. I've never tried it. It seems like a ton of work, so I've kind of avoided it. But I don't. It cooks faster, right? Like much faster.
Sounds like everyone scares you that it's gonna blow up.
Well, if it's not frozen, you should be good. Don't deep fry frozen turkey.
So I used to work at a burn center. I was a burn nurse, and Thanksgiving, we'd always get one person. Yeah, the worst part was a lot of times it wasn't really about exploding or blowing up, but that the oil gets so hot. Yeah, people get essentially grease burns, and that's like napalm essentially, because when you have grease on you that's over 160 degrees, it just settles into the skin real quick, and then it gets deep in. It's nasty. Ugh. So that was we would see less and less actual, because you do use propane for a lot of the heaters they use outside for it. Less about like kind of the combustion, more with the spills from the grease that would cause
Yeah.
issues.
Well, I've
So
seen it when they
it's-
put a frozen one in, the oil spills
it
over, and then
explodes. Yeah,
then it hits the
yeah,
propane and it just ignites.
yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always seemed a little dangerous. I'll stick with the oven to me, but
I like the oven just because it makes the house smell nice. You get
Mhm.
that turkey smell just permeates throughout.
yeah,
You
and
can
it takes
great.
forever. Too.
ways in the oven though,
Yeah.
right? You can
What's
broil
that?
it. Like, can you broil turkey? Is that
I
not gonna?
think because it's so big, you have to cook it. I think it's 15 minutes at like 350, 15 minutes per pound. So
Yeah.
I think at the end when it's done close to cooking, if you really want to get the skin crispy, you can probably crank up the heat a little bit just to get a
There
nice
you go.
crisp on it.
That's probably when you broil it, just to get the skin nice and crispy on top.
Yeah.
But it's probably
So
like a
you guys
fast broil process. So.
have you guys had the turkey legs?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I go
Like
for
at,
those.
like at King Richard's Fair or something like that.
Yeah, the Big E. I got my first one, and since then turkey was ruining me forever. Like it would taste like ham. It didn't make
Yeah,
sense.
I could see that. Yeah, because it's a fattier cut of the turkey too, so it's definitely I could see that.
So I've never got the turkey legs like at a fair or anything like that. And I actually was listening to
They're
Be a
damn
Man's
good.
I was listening to Be a Man's podcast that he talked about getting them and he hated them at some fair.
Really?
Or something like that.
His dumbass would buy them at Market Basket.
Yeah. But at Thanksgiving, I always go for the legs because most people don't like the dark meat, and I love the dark meat. So
That's
Yeah, I
why.
was gonna ask you next. Yeah, what do you guys have you have a preference for dark meat or a white meat?
dark meat for me.
Forever
Yeah.
dark now.
Oh yeah,
I'm a
It's
white
so
meat
much-
guy. I love a good juicy turkey breast, but I'm a breast guy. So
Yeah,
that's my thing.
I don't hate on it. I like it too. I just have to soak it in gravy though. But
Yeah.
The
Which-
turkey
which-
that I get in this year, the breast is brown.
All right. So is it fatty or is it just
yeah,
It's a wild turkey. So
Yeah.
all
like
right?
he grew
Yeah,
up
they're
like
gonna have way
Edmund
more.
said, there's different types. This guy bred a specific type that it's a lot smaller, but
Oh okay.
it's supposed to have more fat content to it, so it's brown.
Yeah,
I bet it'll be damn tasty.
right.
I'm hoping it is, man. I'm hoping.
That's what that in dark meat. It's the more fat and oil in it that makes it so much more flavorful
Makes it
and
wicked,
moist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I like it a lot.
What's your favorite side dish? Hey, you guys got a favorite side dish? Are you stuffing, potatoes, cranberry
Yeah.
sauce?
This gets
Gotta have
racial
stuff
really
in
fast. Because there's so many different ones that
yeah.
I or you guys, I guess we grew up the same way, more or less. I would say. I mean, you go down south of the Mason-Dixon, they got some great fucking sides that we have never
Mhm.
even been, like the casseroles and the mac and cheeses and even the green stuff with the
Yeah, collards. Collard greens are awesome.
God, like
So good.
that's
Yeah.
on everyone's plate. And I got
Yeah.
with stuffing and cranberry sauce from a can and yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
good.
canned the canned cranberry sauce is not on my list of most not my favorite thing on the
I
planet.
had canned gravy my whole life. I didn't know that you could. Yeah, it's a world when you grow up white and regular.
Yeah.
And I love
go-
stuffing. Stuffing's
Yes, I love-
fantastic.
Love stuffing. You gotta have gravy and mashed potatoes, and that's as long as that's there. I'm up to for anything else.
I
too,
think
but you need
I
those
think that's the
staples.
basis. Get a good dinner roll with that, and you're all set.
yeah.
You know.
The rolls hit.
Yeah, those are awesome.
How about for a dessert? Do you guys have a favorite pie or a favorite dessert you like at the old Thanksgiving?
If I've got room for it, yeah, it's usually like a pie. But my family's always done like a pie or something, but never
sure.
like anything
Potato.
crazy.
I'm a fan of the pecan pie. I like the pumpkin pie too. It's
A
like the only
pumpkin.
time of year I'll eat pumpkin pie. You know, is
Yeah.
around Thanksgiving.
Okay, I can do
Yeah.
Apple
that.
and blueberry are my favorite, but
Blueberry
That
yeah.
is good.
That counts. Apple's still in season. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, apple's a fall. That's a fall fruit, definitely.
yeah,
do they apple pumpkin pie? Is that a thing?
I don't know,
Sounds-
maybe.
sounds good
Probably
though.
could. Yeah,
Yeah.
We got
it's
to.
spiced together. Yeah. Do you guys have any Thanksgiving traditions that you normally do? Like the day of. I know some people hunt on Thanksgiving. Some people football's always on. So I don't know if anybody has a. I personally, I always make Chex Mix the morning of Thanksgiving. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Have you ever had Chex Mix?
Yeah, I've had it.
Personal own Chex Mix. Your own Chex Mix. You just make
Well,
it.
I make it. Yeah, you make
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
just
you
throw
can
like
make-
raisins and M&Ms in it, and
Jeez.
Oh no, straight up. This is like traditional old. This is just nuts, Chex,
Oh, yeah.
pretzels. Yeah.
Yeah. The little
Worcestershire
do
sauce,
the little
onion
sliced
powder, garlic powder.
little sliced sourdough bread or whatever that is. Those chips. The
No,
bread chips.
I don't even use like the rye chips in it. I just do straight up
Okay.
like old school traditional Chex Mix. It's
No
That's
delicious.
interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard that one.
I'll do pretzels. My wife doesn't do gluten. She has eosinophilic esophagitis, so she has allergies to gluten. Yeah.
Sure.
Dude, no, it's actually it's an actual immune thing. Look it up.
Oh yeah. I know. I have a friend that has it too. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so she can't do the gluten, so we get the gluten-free ones, which are kind of
Interesting.
pretzels are garbage anyway. But
Yeah.
on
They
the
get in the way.
huh?
They're in my teeth and stuff. You're right.
Pretzel, yeah, and the hierarchy of snacks are at the bottom. They're down there with like popcorn.
Yeah, they're overrated.
Peanut butter. I don't know, man.
All right, yeah, that's a good exception right there.
Or
But
if
on
you have
their own-
hummus.
The cheese.
Yeah, you
Pretzels
just have
and
to dip
hummus.
them in.
Yeah, I can do that.
You need to have them with something. Yeah, on their own. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special?
Yeah, but I don't remember it. It's been forever.
It's definitely the worst of all the Charlie Brown ones. The Great Pumpkin, the Christmas one, those are classics. This one's not so good. It's really weird. Like the voice actors aren't the same as the other ones, so it's off. And they go to like whose house they go to, but like there's no adults around, so the kids have to make Thanksgiving. So their Thanksgiving dinner consists of like it's popcorn and jelly beans and toast.
Ugh.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Is there
No,
a relation
do you
between-
know how old it is?
Oh, it probably came out in the early '80s.
Yeah,
maybe?
so I had to have seen
Like
it.
I'm in my
remember
mid
it.
40s, so for me it was like when I was a kid it was out. So
Yeah, it was
How about the
probably before
Macy's?
I had to watch
The
it.
Macy's Day Parade. You guys ever watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
That would be the
That-
thing.
That was
would be
something big when I was a kid too. But when I was a kid, it was like there were it was before everybody had cable. There were like 3 channels. It was the only thing on that time in the morning. So
True.
but I used to like watching the parade, just the balloons, the parade, all that fun stuff.
It's the rose one, right?
What's that?
The flower.
No, this is different. No, that's like I think that's on New Year's Day. They have that. This is always Thanksgiving morning. They have this in New York.
And it's all
And they
the
have
big
like all the they have all the
balloons.
giant floats, and then Santa's at the end. Santa comes out waving at everybody, and Mariah Carey's singing her fucking song.
Oh god.
That's the one
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller was
No, that was something in Chicago.
on? All over the place.
So I was wondering, Macy's has held that parade forever. How is Macy's doing as a company? Are they even like?
Yeah.
Do they make
I
enough
think
money?
they're
to
fine.
do that?
They still have brick and mortar. They still have like
Yeah.
stores and malls. So
Yeah.
sure, but I don't know between their online sales. But yeah, it's a great point. Like I don't know like how well they're doing. They can't be doing all as good as they were 20 years ago.
I feel like every
But,
store like that has been in decline like rapidly. So I'm surprised Macy's still has the backing to put that on every
There's
year because
still,
it's
like,
not cheap.
The
No.
Bloomingdale's, the Lord, and there are like the big ones. Like
Yeah, they've still survived for whatever reason. People still shop there.
I don't even know where there's one around me. I can't even think of it. There has to be one in Concord or Manchester, but I don't.
Yeah, 100%.
There might be, yeah, or even like Nashua might have one. I don't know if like
Yeah.
Pheasant Lane has one or not, but
I have no idea. I don't remember the last time I saw one around here.
What got them the parade? Any idea? Like, where's that whole thing come from? Just because they're a big company?
I think they
And
started-
I imagine they probably sponsored it to begin with, and because they're
Yeah.
they're a huge New York company, and it started in New York City. It's the New York thing. So
Right.
I'm assuming that's just where it's come from, and every year they've sponsored it and put it on. So
Yeah, I'm surprised it's
always on TV.
Yeah,
It's-
'cause
yeah.
there's nothing else on, so they pump that.
throw that on there. It starts at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so
Yeah.
it's long.
Leading to football, for that's what I would do. Is I would go see the football game. I'd watch that or see the local football game.
Yeah, that would always be on the TV when everyone's still cooking, everyone's still showing up, and then once dinner happened, it's just football from there on. But
Great for the background.
yeah,
Well, that's all I got, gentlemen. I just kind of wanted to, like I said, it was great to talk about turkeys. I want to share some foodborne illness facts, tell people to kind of remember to wash your hands and wash, everything around. There is no need to wash chicken. If anybody is wondering, if you get chicken at the store or a turkey, you don't need to pre-wash it before you cook it.
Mhm.
So when you cook it, it's going to kill the shit out of anything. So
Right.
by washing it, you're just spreading bacteria all over the place. So,
yep.
but yeah.
So,
Any last thoughts or comments from you guys?
No, just everyone have a good holiday and make sure you cook your food all the way and don't get sick.
Yeah, you too. Do you guys want to? Do you want to be really cliche and like share one thing you're thankful for?
If you want.
I mean,
Let's do it. Let's
How do you
Let's
know?
go around the circle. Birdman, let's start with you. What are you thankful for?
I guess mostly, we just bought a house like last year and we're just loving it. And I went from having my ex-girlfriend cheat on me, ruin my life, and now I have like a beautiful family, a beautiful house. It's like my life's changed a lot in the last couple, like 4 years. So I'm very thankful for what I got now. So
Things happen for a reason, you know. Sometimes we don't see them when they happen, but when you look back.
yeah,
How
sometimes
about
the
you,
worst.
what about you, Jay?
definitely happy to be a Minifan, I guess. Still,
Sure.
I mean,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm out of the world, so happy to still be here and do things like this. And like Birdman says, looking forward to having the opportunity every day to look forward towards the greater things.
Hell yeah.
I'm with you guys. Like, especially the last like 2 weeks for me have been crazy, man. Like in the hospital, out of the hospital. Like
That's where
I was
going, like,
I was always extremely like thankful for everything I had before, but even more so now. And especially like my wife has been awesome. She's been like an absolute godsend through all this.
do you
So
feel
I'm just
better? Though? Like you
I
have
do,
to-
yeah. Yeah, so it's the one major thing with me was my eyesight. So like if you were to like look straight ahead and cut like your vision into quadrants, my left upper quadrant in both of my eyes was like missing, and now it's almost back to normal. So yeah, just from where the clot was, specifically in my brain, in the occipital lobe in the back of the brain, specifically where that clot was affected. That it was on the right side, so it affected the left side because the brain's like ipsilateral. So what happens on one side will affect the other side.
Yep.
So crazy stuff. I'm getting better though. They still don't know what the hell caused it. So it's all kinds of like, I'm a perfectly healthy person beyond the fact they don't know what caused me to have a stroke.
Jesus.
So I've got a heart monitor on right now. So we're looking to see if I have like atrial fibrillation that's kind of flipping in and out.
Yeah. Yep.
Other than that, no idea. So hopefully we figure it out because I do not want this to happen again.
No, stay well, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Man, just be good.
But yeah, I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the Minna family. Everybody in the Minna family has been super supportive. You know, everybody gives each other shit all the time, and most people are critical, but it's usually all in jest. So I've had a lot of support. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you guys again for coming on too. I appreciate the time, and you guys sharing Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving special anyway with me. So
awesome. Thank you.
In the future, Birdman, we need to do our bird, like essentially like pathogenic bird diseases. So there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I got to do some research on that. I will.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I haven't done enough. But there's all kinds of shit that gets passed along from. It's where a lot of the shit starts. So
yeah, a lot of shit. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
birds around the
awesome,
world.
man.
All right, man.
Thank you guys again. I hope you guys have an awesome Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble.
No. Pass the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes. Ooh, the turkey looks great. Thank you for loving me.
Len,
Thank you for being there.
please.
Thank you for loving me.
Oh, God.
Everyone's thanking. The whole
Len.
world's thanking you.
Stop.
Thanking
Len, stop.
us for thanking you.
Len.
Kill the turkey.
Len!